Hello, my name is Tim Sue, and you're watching a match of the Dragon Ball Z official card game. If you'd like to find out more about the DBZ OCG, go to www.dragonballzocg.com. Today's match is between forum members Darkhatchet and Weaver and was played on OCTGN. Also watching the game were Generic Gamer and Clashback. Darkhatchet was playing Bardock and Weaver was Nappa. Now what I'd like to do, since this is my first commentary on a game, is jump between narrating the flow of the game and explaining what the DBZ OCG is. Starting with the game, Darkhatchet has a black strategic deck with Frieza Sensei and Weaver running a Saiyan Tragic with King Cold Sensei. If you'd like to read the power on a card, just pause the video. I won't put you through me reading card powers for half an hour. Darkhatchet sensei'd in 3 Fallen Champion and 2 Scout Maneuvers, and Weaver sensei'd 3 of Garlic Jr.'s Haymaker. For those of you not familiar with the DBZ card game, the sensei is just another name for a sideboard. They are optional to use, but all senseis also offer a power or ability that a player can use to improve the strengths and weaknesses of your deck. For however many cards you want to move from your sensei deck to your life deck before the game, you take that many cards off the top of your life deck and move them to your sensei deck. This can wreak havoc on some decks, but both these players used their sensei'd in cards to great effect in this game. Now, Weaver is going to go first, and the rule for deciding that is called the double power rule. Both players check their power levels at 5 stages above 0, and if one level is more than double the other, the weaker personality goes first, starts at 10 stages above 0, and the opponent starts at 2 above 0. This is a rule that was kept from the original DBZ CCG released by Score from 2000 to 2005. At the start of a player's turn, they look at the top 6 cards of their life deck, rearrange the cards how they like, and draw 3 of them. Following that, you have your non-combat and power-up steps. Now, Weaver ignores these because he doesn't have any cards in play to play in those steps, and he is already at full. Then you have the combat step, and Weaver chooses to declare combat. Darkhatchet gets to look at his top 6 and choose 3 cards, then Weaver attacks. He opens with Haymaker, and it hits. The damage total is what is printed on the card, plus any modifiers he has in play. So 4 stages plus 1 from King Cold Sensei means 5 stages of damage. Darkhatchet then uses an event card you saw from his sensei earlier, Fallen Champion. Weaver can't stop it, so now he is at level 1 and cannot get any benefit from his personality power for the rest of combat. Weaver pays 2 stages for an energy attack that gets through, and his last attack of the round is one players of the DBZ CCG will remember as saying Cross Punch. It's still the same effect. Physical attack for 10 stages if you declared a mastery. That's the end of combat and the end of Weaver's turn. While Darkhatchet is taking his turn, I want to take a minute to explain how and when the DBZ OCG got started. The OCG was released last March as a strictly online way for folks who enjoyed the old DBZ CCG but were tired of the broken cards, imbalance, huge rules documents, and the huge card library. The game follows the story and personalities of Dragon Ball Z across the sagas. The initial release had all the characters from Saiyan Saga and featured all the stories and battles from that saga. There have been 4 sets released now. They're through the Trunks Saga and the latest release, Gaiden, focuses on the first batch of DBZ movies. In particular, you've got History of Trunks, History of Bardock, Dead Zone, World's Strongest, Tree of Might, and Lord Slug. Getting back to the match, Darkhatchet has put some non-combats into play and is going to pass on declaring combat. That makes it Weaver's turn again, and you can start to see what these two styles of decks are focused on. Saiyan emphasizes hitting hard, hitting fast, hitting often, and Weaver does a good job of showing that off here. Black is great for throwing your opponent off balance by messing with your opponent's hand and discard pile and setting up for your own victory. You might know Black Shadow Memories as its CCG counterpart of Black Searching Technique, another card from the same set as that also featured in this combat, Saiyan Destiny from the old Android saga. Saiyan Power Beam is also alive and well with the same effects as it had in Buu Saga. While the combat is playing out, I will go through the other martial arts styles represented so far in the OCG. As of the fourth set, there are also orange, blue, red, Namekian, and freestyle decks that all have their own masteries. Orange generally works very well with energy attacks and drills and can also create an aggressive physical style. Blue tends to have the best cards to control the anger of their opponent and tends to defend, mill its opponent, or use its allies to win. Red tends to be an aggressive style, very good at raising its anger and utilizing powerful physical attacks. Namekian focuses on hand advantage, not hitting as hard as the other styles, but very good at putting cards in its discard pile back into their life deck and gaining more power stages. Freestyle decks use the named cards of their main personality or cards without any martial arts style. They can potentially be very good at protecting your drills or pulling a card out of your life deck when you need it. Weaver winds up hitting with one energy attack and two physical attacks this combat, and Darkhatchet's deck is starting to look a little thin. While they get to the end of combat, let me talk a little about main personalities. A player has to choose a character from the DBZ show to use as his main personality during the game. You must have at least 3 levels of the main personality in order to declare it as your MP. Being 4 sets into the game, there are a large number of characters to choose from, ranging from the humans to the Saiyans, Namekians, and aliens. Each personality will have a faction. They belong to the heroes, who are colored blue, or the villains, who are colored red. In some cases, like Bardock, you have a rogue personality, and you have to declare if you are a hero or villain. This makes a difference because there are cards in the game that can only be used by heroes or villains. The other fun thing about your personality is that they all have their own power that you have to use to your advantage. Some are used in place of an attack during combat, some are constantly in play, like Nappa's level 1 and Bardock's levels, and some are used when you enter combat. Getting to higher personality levels means higher power stages, a new power to replace your last one, and full power stages. Getting back to the game now. Darkhatchet is going to drop some non-combats into play and end his turn, and it goes back to Weaver. Weaver draws his 3 cards, and after he picks them out, he's going to go for the win. Darkhatchet may be able to hold him off for a combat. He has Dragon Support in play, which can let him discard another card from his opponent's hand when he uses his mastery. Notice that Weaver doesn't have a way to turn off Darkhatchet's mastery this round, so he chose to take out the Dragon Support first to keep from losing all his cards to a Black Strategic Mastery / Dragon Support combo. Darkhatchet plays Bluffer Block and gets a Dragon Support out of his pile and goes straight for his mastery using a black card to make it random. Weaver loses 1 attack and plays the remainder, and it's focused. That means Buffer Block cannot stop it, and the damage is more than Darkhatchet has left in his deck. And that's the game, with a win for Weaver and very well played decks by both. With the game over, I'll just scroll through their discard piles and life deck, let you see what they were running. If you've made it this far, thank you for listening. If you'd like to leave feedback, please visit dbzocg.com and check out the card library, decks, events, and forums while you're there. My name is Temsu, and I'll see you next time.